A wheeze. This is somewhat similar of a sound that a wizard and a bicycle makes at the same time, mostly speaking about a bicycle though, but it's a wizard whispering into what a bicycle's purpose is and how it is contextually in the nature of spiritual finance and in the nature of love. So in essence, we're trying to open like a different kind of a pocket of a different type of a space, of a type of a mentality regarding bicycles in today's frame of reference, frame of mindset, while we conceptualize how to try to reframe ourselves and our energy in this global, crazy, everlasting, unfolding item known as space and time, and thing that we like to ride and surf in between. It's called life. It is such a peculiar dream. It is what we are always sort of finding ourselves within, and at the same time what we're trying to do today is recontextualize the nature of a bicycle to be able to use it as sort of a vehicle to be able to try to flow in between space and time, so that in essence you're able to recognize assets. And we want to try to develop a correlation and a context and an overlap between the in essence nature of investing and the nature of trying to flow in between reality and get one place to another, but at the same time be at a different speed than everybody else and sort of be in between the natures of reality by being able to stop and start, and at the same time being able to leverage something known as a bicycle within the nature of spiritual finance to be able to try to leverage a different mindset that's a little bit unique, so that everybody at the same time is looking at things from their pace of walking, but at the same time you use the leverage of bicycle flow and the flow of bicycling to be able to get a context in the nature of investing and to be able to develop and increase an investing mindset and try to enhance an investing mindset, so that in essence it's relevant to be able to enhance a investing frame of interest in terms of a mental state, so that in essence as you are riding and flowing, so that in essence it becomes a state of flow that you in essence translation your brain into when you're riding on a bicycle, so that in essence whether it's an electrical or a mechanical bicycle, that you are in an investor state of frame of reference state of mind. And what that means in essence is that all of your time and energy in life, it is best used as an asset portfolio, including monetary energy. But typically people like to frame the reference of monetary energy, meaning money, and have it revolve around greed and manipulation and things that are sort of derogatory on a consistent basis, which is typically true because trends tend to focus around and also build around this type of fashion and this framework of past trends, where things that are derogatory tend to revolve around and are circulating around monetary energy. Whereas the opposite is meant to happen in this podcast, whereas people become engines in this mentality of a frame of reference of this podcast, so that this engine state of mind reference state of mind is possible to become a philanthropy energy engine, so that by the end of this podcast you have the frame of reference of a frame of mind to develop an interest to acquire some form of a vehicle that develops a little bit of a flow, an outside flow, so that in this framework, this frame of mind, that in essence you're able to go at a different speed than everybody else in terms of not just walking but doing something a little bit different, but at the same time you're also outside, similar to a bicycle, which is also good to do like an electric bicycle or do ride sharing for food courier services, or at the same time long distance bicycle riding or anything in between. This was somewhat inspired by somebody who was riding a long distance bicycle ride that was rode over 1,500 miles within the last 2 weeks, and so that sort of started the mindset, I guess you could say. But then at the same time having the ability to be able to leverage electric bicycles to be able to not just get around but be able to work with them and have that as an asset ability to be able to travel and transit from one place to another, even when not working, to be able to deliver certain goods and services, so that in essence it's able to enhance a portfolio mindset, it's able to enhance an investing mindset, so that in essence the global philanthropy energy grid, which is what investing all revolves around, is able to transpose into all human beings, so that in essence it's possible to just in essence transition from a human being into a philanthropy energy engine. So at the same time we're also transitioning the meaning of monetary energy, we're also transitioning the meaning of money from one thing that revolves around manipulation and greed into something that in essence speaks to purpose and also an interest to be able to become a philanthropy energy engine if you become a philanthropy energy engine, that means every breath you inhale, every breath you exhale, it is part of an engine that is circulating energy. It is in essence like cylinders of an engine, like an 8-cylinder engine that has different cylinders firing with one breath coming in and one breath going out. That is you becoming an engine. If you realize this is part of your mechanism, by being able to do this and by having something such as a bicycle, it increases something known as flow, which in essence that flow develops a mindset which in essence is able to break up the flow of typically rigid conceptual connectivity with other humans that are walking in similar linear processes that have to do with walking on sidewalks, for example, and just trying to break up that trend to be able to develop your own flow, your own state of mind, so that you can stop the bicycle at any given time and write notes. You can write down notes on a physical piece of paper, or you can write down notes on a physical phone so that it adds to your portfolio, and then at the same time you can direct the bicycle to different directions to be able to find different assets by speaking to different people, possibly doing interviews to be able to develop and grow a personal brand by adding value to interviews in the world where everybody can learn something through edutainment, and at the same time you can cross-promote each other's brands, but at the same time that is also developing assets. You're becoming assets by becoming a philanthropy energy engine. You are becoming a philanthropy energy engine when you do this, because in essence you're able to ride around and you develop your own seeds around the whole world as you ride around, and you become that seed grazing, grooming process of a tractor, for example, of an engine, of a philanthropy energy engine, and you become a philanthropy energy engine as you continue to develop this mindset. When you become an investing mindset, it's an investing mindset, not becoming an investor, but developing the investing mindset so that in essence it transitions the nature and the purpose for money as a whole, instead of detracting money and making money seem like it's about manipulation and greed. In essence, it makes it so you attract money, in essence, when you become a philanthropy energy engine, because you make all of the essences of your energies that are emanating off of you as a human being, and you translate them and you transpose them into becoming a philanthropy energy engine. And with that mindset, to be able to transpose into that, you're always constantly searching for assets, and when you're always constantly searching for assets, you're always trying to transition all of the energies that you come in contact with, you connect with, into asset energies. That is part of the framework of the mentality of the purposes that are served for the framework of a philanthropy energy engine, because you're trying to do the most good in the world and have the most impact in the best ways possible. So by being able to focus on translating the most energy into the most philanthropy energy possible in the world, that develops the most good possible, but then it also develops and rewards the most monetary energy possible. And at the same time, the fuel for the philanthropy energy engine is monetary energy. That is sort of the bottom end phrase for this whole purpose of this exercise, of this mentality, of this podcast, because in essence, the bottom framework mentality is related to developing this mentality so that in essence you become a philanthropy energy engine, which is run from the gasoline that is monetary energy. Monetary energy is the gasoline for the philanthropy energy engine. So once you become the philanthropy energy engine, then you require monetary energy to flow all around you, to be able to survive, to be able to live, to be able to make your processes function. And the residuals of more growing monetary energy is a residual of having an efficient philanthropy energy engine system and having the ability to continue to purify your process and cleansify and cleanify, cleanse the process, clean the process, cleansify the process, although that's not a word. Clean the process so that in essence you have a better running philanthropy energy engine. And so what that means is trying to synthesize the most pure and gold and asset relationships possible in all of humanity, with all people that you connect with people that you can possibly try to interview for your personal brand, to be able to increase your edutainment and your awareness of your personal brand, which even investing companies are companies. So that therefore makes them also entrepreneurs. All asset management companies are companies, as I said at the end of the word. So that makes them also entrepreneurs. They all have expenses and revenue. So the expenses are investments. So that therefore renders you and everybody else in the world as an investor. It is the idea of acknowledging and becoming the investor and embracing the title to begin with, to then therefore be able to try to transition into a philanthropy energy engine. And when upon doing that, it's like riding around your own farm in a mental sense. You make the whole world into your farm in essence, and you're riding around on it on a bicycle. And when you're in the real life, in the real world sense, you have both. You have the internet on your phone, and also you have the in real life version to be able to connect with different people and different assets in different ways in different places in the world, because everybody in the world has value in this world and in this landscape of life, because everybody is sort of also leveraging monetary energy, money, to be able to use and be part of different purposes and processes in their life. So that therefore means when you become the philanthropy energy engine, when you inhale and you exhale like different cylinders of an engine and become a philanthropy energy engine that is searching for, like you're riding around with a bicycle on your own farm looking for seeds to plant, looking for different philanthropy energy to be able to grow by being a philanthropy energy engine, which speaks to the essence of entrepreneurship, which is trying to add philanthropy energy and meaning make philanthropy energy, meaning make all businesses end with the result of greater philanthropy being the end result, which means a greater result of greater problems being solved on a more consistent basis. That then therefore makes the entrepreneur and philanthropy energy engine to a certain extent, but not unless they contain the framework of the mindset to be able to actually become the actual engine, so that every aspect of every movement that they contain, it envelops and it relates to, and it has correspondence to the purpose of actually becoming a philanthropy energy engine, so that every aspect of energy that resonates from that specific purpose, that being that one individual, for example, or a group of people, individuals that make up a group or a circle of different people at the same time, or a different organization at the same time that is aspirational to be able to form greater energy with, that at the same time, if you become that philanthropy energy engine, that then therefore increases the mentality for combining the in real life and at the same time the online space, to then therefore be able to develop more of a clean and functional and efficient philanthropy energy engine, which in essence runs off of monetary energy. It is the thing that fuels it. It goes around all of the cylinders. It is the oil, the grease, it is the fuel that in essence, it at the same time the power for the engine, more or less, so that the engine in essence is you. It is you are an engine, and everybody is unique in that respect, but at the same time becoming an engine means building specific parts and apparatuses that all continue to work together, and growing the engine and continuing to reinvest in the engine at the same time, just like an aftermarket engine in a car, in a vehicle, to give it more horsepower, and at the same time rebuilding it again, so that it functions more properly, and always knowing that it's always possible to go to a mechanic again to be able to get upgrades and more foundational upgrades and increases, to be able to leverage higher power upgrades and better systems, better systematization. And that's the nature of the business as a whole, to develop a better business portfolio process and become an investor at the soonest time possible, so that in essence it's best to be able to try to leverage the investor mindset and become a philanthropy energy engine at the same time, so that it's also possible to leverage in real life processes while leveraging the mindset to be able to cleanse a mindset and take notes, good notes, while riding a bicycle, for example, but at the same time to be able to go to specific people and try to meet specific people and find ways and indicators and indications to be able to continue to grow assets, which are people that you're connected to, and connectivity through the nature of networking, which is connecting to asset people and asset energies, and just connecting consistently to the most asset energies possible, whether it's groups, group dynamics, business ventures, business venture concepts, and consistent flow of consistent energy that is asset energy as opposed to liability energy, and practicing, being able to repractice, repurpose, reinvest, and regrow the nature of the energy. So you're constantly going to different mechanics and constantly adding different add-ons that are well and proficient, and consistently adding different functionalities to an investing process to continue to make greater philanthropy energy. Greater philanthropy energy is what necessitates more monetary energy. So if you want to make more money, in essence, that's the whole kind of bottom line purpose, is to be able to acknowledge that you're an investor to begin with, and just to also become an engine, so that at the same time, it's not that you're building an engine which is your business, it is that you yourself as a person, as a human being, and all the human beings that are part of any specific organization, if you have more than one, but most specifically to acknowledge that one human being alone is to become a philanthropy energy engine, to then therefore embrace and attract and be a part of money, or therefore the opposite, for money to be part of you. As opposed to you to be part of money, it's for money to be part of you, for money to be allowed in your cool kids group, for example, which is a saying, obviously is what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's as opposed to you going to money thinking money is the cool kids group and you need to be led into the money group. The cool kids group is the money group, for example. It's the opposite. If you can flip the script and you make money be attracted to you, in essence, by becoming a philanthropy energy engine, so that therefore money needs to run on you, or in other words, money needs you to, in essence, to be able to continue to flow. And that is the type of engine that attracts money, because in essence, that is what is the fuel for a philanthropy energy engine, is money, is monetary energy, is what keeps it moving, because that is just the working part. It's the grease, it's the oil that keeps the valves spinning and turning and the spark plugs firing for the engine to continue to churn, in essence, like the cylinders of an engine, of a V8 engine, for example, or any car engine for that matter. But nonetheless, that is the one that we're trying to focus on, so that this analogy is trying to be a little bit more fluid, but it's just sort of the mentality to be able to also transition, like I talked about, us making a shop in Hong Kong theoretically, and having a digital and a physical presence, in essence, or a digital and physical experience, in essence, in that shop, if we're able to open one somehow in the coming near future, next 6 months to a year, somehow, that in essence will have the digital and the physical experience. So that in essence is a transposition of the mentality of riding around on a bicycle and trying to conjure up assets in the short term and in the space that's in front of you, to be able to go out and directly connect with people and ask them to do interviews if they seem inviting as assets, or you know something about them because you read something about them and you have a way to find them at an event where you can target them for interviews, or find up ways to set up value, to be able to try to set up value to set them up with some preconceived value, so that they just get value, and then they therefore are liking you a little bit more, to be able to try to want to add value to your process. But at the same time, in our conceivable, hypothetical, in theory, theoretical shop in Hong Kong, we would want a digital and a physical experience at the same time. So you can walk into our physical shop and also shop online within the store, is part of the somewhat game plan. Like we'll have like iPads to be able to buy and shop online within the store, and then like physical, like a gallery to be able to buy and purchase certain things. But at the same time, we're getting very digital, trying to get very digital and connecting digital to the physical space very consistently. So that is part of the V8 engine, where one side is digital, one side is physical, of the two sides of the cylinder heads that are in essence going back and forth, chugging back and forth of this philanthropy energy engine for Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. But for everybody to be able to necessitate money, or rather for money to necessitate you, more or less, if you become a philanthropy energy engine, then money necessitates you, because in essence that is how money breathes, is philanthropy energy engines. That's the real nature of it. It's not manipulation and greed for money to be able to thrive on. That's not the nature of money. In essence, it's the opposite. It's money thrives upon philanthropy energy engines. That's what it's made for, because that's what it's made for, is to solve problems, is for entrepreneurship to be able to solve problems, and that therefore is the purpose for becoming a philanthropy energy engine and using the in real life process and surroundings. And so it's just a slight conclusion that it is just a mental framework of understanding the focus of what spiritual finance is trying to mean, that philanthropy energy ultimately is, and the nature of trying to develop the concept and the term, so that in essence it's the easiest to be able to connect with the asset energy mindset, so that in essence becoming a philanthropy energy mindset and engine allows for one to be the proponent and the attractor and the ingredients that money is attracted to, that money needs to be able to exist, because that's the purpose for money, is to be able to solve problems all around the world, and the purpose for entrepreneurship. And so therefore money is, which is within that, to be able to build companies, and the nature of love, and it's the nature of money, and it's the nature of the energy within all of those things to be able to continue to build forward. So let's all become philanthropy energy engines together, and start to, actually we already are all philanthropy energy engines together, but we need to all be more clean and more cleansed, and be able to cleanse the mindset and all the processes and the assets and the orders of operations, so that we have the ability to run more clean and more functionally, to be able to do more good for more people, so that more people around the whole world are able to benefit from everybody else in the world, being able to acknowledge that everybody else is able to benefit from everybody else in the world by everybody becoming a philanthropy energy engine. Thanks again, Dinky Tech. Change for Games. Dinky Tech, Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.